Hey guys, KRX here, another review. This time I'll bring the AC13 Kamen Gaim Kiwami arms from Kamen Gaim. This is the 13th entry in the Arms Change series, and is Kamen Gaim's final form. So this includes a few things. The figure, fake Kachidoki parts, and 2 weapons. So, I have the figure here where it is equipped with the fake Kachidoki arms parts. Since Gaim transforms into Kiwami arms from Kachidoki, so let's take a look at it. So, you can see here that the base figure itself is silver, but with this it's mostly colored in this clear orange because of the parts that do cover up a lot of the figure underneath. Starting off with the head, we can see that this is not a full thing, as it does leave some parts open. You can see that it does have the details such as the horns, the visor, and the kind of faceplate or added armor piece, but does leave open the bottom part so you can see the mouth and the neck of the figure inside. You can see the chest plate here, which has the Gaim symbol painted in gold. It does have the properly molded Sengoku driver with the Kachidoki lock seat open. Got the skirt armor here, shoulders, as well as the gauntlet pieces, which are designed so that they can rest up against the forearms of the base figure. And on the back you can see a bit more of the actual figure, like the back of the head, as well as the cape and the back of the arms and legs. So, first thing we want to do is actually do the transformation, which is the main gimmick of the figure. So on the back here, you can see this dial with arrows going both directions. That's because there are 2 ways to do this. You can twist it to the right, where the top piece will fly off and then the bottom piece, or to the left, well, it will be the opposite. So we'll do it the first way. So you want to hold the figure in place, turn the dial once and twice. Then take the back piece off, like so. And there you have Kamen Gaim in Kiwami arms. So now you can see that the actual pieces here are attached on these 2 clips to spring-loaded pieces in here. You can see that when it actually goes past these 2 notches, first the top ones spring open, then the bottom ones. And taking a look on the inside, you can actually see there's an arrow showing which way it goes up. So that way you don't accidentally put it on backwards, or rather upside down. And as far as the actual arm pieces go, there are a couple of actual hinges here at the shoulders, so while it is with the pieces equipped, you can at least get a little bit of posing to keep up the illusion. But while they're off the figure, you can take the pieces and still snap them on like so that they're not separate. Like that. Or not. There we go. So now we can take a look at the figure itself. So starting from the head, you can see the new design, which is that of a Shogun. So you've got this helmet that actually kind of goes up to this point, and then it has, instead of just his crest, a full-on Gaim symbol with the actual crest piece of that symbol extended out. And that's painted in nice gold with red for the forehead gem. And see grey paint for the face. Then on the inside we have the new visor piece, which is basically his orange arms visor, but with rainbow colors. Specifically we have orange, then red, then yellow, then green. And that's actually a separate piece that is attachable, so you can see it like that. And I'll get to why that is a bit later. Moving down to the body, you got the chest plate, which has this nice sticker underneath a clear plastic piece, which depicts various fruits based on various arms. We have an orange, a banana, grapes, a melon, a strawberry, and a watermelon. Now this is almost all of the fruits that are on the front of the Kiwami lock seed, except for a pineapple. Though to make up for that, there's these various golden clouds that surround it. And it's overall a nice design. You can see that there is a bit of molding on the clear plastic piece, giving it a little bit of dimension. You can see that you've got the little kind of cape straps, or this plastic piece is silver painted red. You got the shoulder pads, which have this nice layering in black paint. And then you have the arms, which are mostly silver, with some nice stud details, and black wrist cuffs. Have the Sengoku driver, which has very nicely molded, opened up Kachidoki and Kiwami lock seeds. You can see molding lines for not only the various fruit slices, but the actual Kachidoki and Kiwami faces that are on the undersides. And besides that, they also added the detail of him having 2 lock seed holders, just like he does in the show. You got the skirt pieces, which are made of flexible plastic, so that they don't hinder articulation too much. Moving down the legs, which have some of the same details as the arms. And then black anklets. And then you also have the cape, which is something you did take a bit of liberty on. Obviously, because of the fake Kachidoki parts, they had to make it a bit thin so that it could go around it. Another thing is that it's kind of a two-tone cape in the show, with the backside being black with a gold pattern on the bottom, and then red on the inside. But they chose just to make it red for this figure, so that you could see the red part from the front. So articulation-wise, got a ball-jointed head, though it is a little bit kind of limited, I guess, by like the helmet design of sorts, or at least to the point where it has a tendency to do this when you move the head to the side. But that might just be mine. Arms rotate 360 degrees, go in and out. Have bicep swivel, single joint elbows, wrist swivel, 2 finger joints, waist swivel. Legs go forward and back, in and out, though obviously is a little bit more limited. Just gotta keep in mind the skirt pieces, because these are the kind of things where you don't want to have it in any one pose that stretches out too long, as like with similar pieces, like the cape pieces on Kamen and Wizards WAP figures. If they're kept in a certain way too long, it'll kind of stay that way and they won't retract. You've got a thigh swivel, single joint knees, and ball joint ankles. As for the weapons, it includes the Hinama Daidai DJ-Ju in Ju mode and Taiken mode. The interesting thing is that these are actually new molds from the ones used in the AC11 Kachidoki arms figures. As for comparison, here's the Ju mode. On top is the new one, on the bottom is the old one. And obviously, the first difference is that they decided to mold in the same silver plastic as the base figure. They also made these actually a little bit easier for the figure to hold. As you can see, the handle is a bit more curved for the Ju mode. And for the Taiken mode, they decided to just mold it all as one single piece. Actually thinned up the second handles, making that easier to hold. Now what I don't get is why they couldn't just do this for the Kachidoki arms ones. Since there really wasn't much of a point of doing it like this, having this separate Muso saber, just because he doesn't really use this as anything separate. Like, this is not a mode. And while it is nice that you get this for the color consistency, I think I would have just preferred if they used this mold and just had this in all black. And you can see, it does actually make that easier to hold. And with this, you actually get him in a better two-handed pose, because you can actually get the hand around the other grip. Now in the show, Kiwami arms gimmick is that he can use any arms weapon, which is something that's special in the show because, in the series, the arms weapons are normally locked to specific arms. But that's not really anything too special within terms of the arms change figures, because since these figures all use the same hands, while it is, something that is possible in the show and is show accurate to have Kiwami holding weapons like the Daidaimaru and Bana Spear, it's something you could technically do with any figure. So instead, they actually added in a little bonus. Now, I did show that this was a separate piece, and the reason for that is because this figure is capable of having arms attached on top of it. As I just showed, you can actually attach this piece and attach the cape and detach the cape altogether. And you'll see that it actually has little clips for attaching arms. Meaning you can actually do arms changes with this. Just for an example, here's the orange arms. You just take that, put that on top, and open it up. And there you have Kiwami arms with orange arms on. And this opens up a whole new realm of playability for this figure, as it means you can make forms with this figure that are literally impossible to do in the show, since the in-show suit is not designed for this kind of functionality. Though the one thing you have to keep in mind is that with the chest plate kind of raised here, it means that some chest pieces, or some arms, are going to have the chest pieces not sit as flush with the base figure as with other arms. But it is quite a bit nice. And so it gives better justification for using other armed weapons with the Kiwami arms figure. when you're done, you can just detach the arms, reattach the cape, as well as the shoulder piece, and turn the helmet back to normal. So overall, I feel that Kiwami Arms is a very nice figure and a good way to kind of finish off the Arms Change series, at least the retail Arms Change series. It is very nicely molded and sculpted, and while it would be nice to have some metallic silver paint here, I think the silver plastic does well enough. The details are all here where they need to be. There are some things that don't have paint that could, but everything's nicely well sculpted. I do find the gimmick of kind of having these fake Kachidoki arms parts that you can send flying off to replicate the Kiwami Arms transformation to be quite cool. And it is at least nice that even though they didn't give us these again in black, at least gave us new molds. I guess the only thing I would say is I do wish that the fake Kachidoki parts had a little bit more paint to them, but they still are good for what they're worth. And definitely the biggest thing about this is how you can use any other arms on this figure, which to me is definitely worth it if you have a lot of other arms. Now obviously there's figure arts for Kiwami Arms, which is more show accurate, has better paint. But I do think this is worth it just on the merits of that added play value of being able to use your other arms with this figure to create these toy exclusive forms. Now, I did mention that this is the last retail release. With Gaim, they created a second gimmick series called the ACPB, or Arms Chain Premium Bandai, which, as the name implies, are Arms Chain figures that are Premium Bandai exclusive. And so this is not the last of my Arms Chain reviews, as I do have some of those. Now, what I will say about those is that I have not picked up all of them, and I do not plan to. In my opinion, they have taken the Arms Chain Premium Bandai line a little bit too far, and they are actually making figures for that line past the end of the series. So I have chosen to not buy some. I've bought the ones that I feel are most important, which are basically the ones pertaining to the rest of the riders from the show that didn't get retail releases, and the riders from the summer movie. And when I get to those reviews, I will explain, or at least once I get to the next review, I'll explain why there have been some I'm skipping. But as far as this goes, a cool figure, nice playability, and definitely recommended if you have a lot of different arms. So, thanks for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and check out my channel for more videos, as well as my Facebook page. And for now, this is Kachidoki, writing off.